skyscraper in the Sudirman Central Business District of Jakarta. And our description of the decision was how we as a joint venture company could deliver a 63-story grade A, which is the highest quality and up-to-date space, in a safe, efficient, and effective manner. Our context is that we are participants in the Shimizu Total Joint Venture project, participating in a tender from Indonesia's largest conglomerate, PT Astra International, to build a 63-story grade A building in SCBD Jakarta. We aim to win with our focus on United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and by providing value through innovation. Next slide. For this project, the 5 roles that we highlighted are Tanya as project director, Jonathan as head of business, Armin as head of operations, Luis as head of HSE, and I as head of design. We acted according to these roles throughout the process. Next slide. So our step 2 is decision complexity. It's a bit hard to read, but the first rating that we gave was a level of 4 because there was a decent number of participants in the project. And which is why the complexity of the decision was a level of 4. And the size of the decision was rated as 3 because it was not a small project, nor was it a mega project. The familiar of the project was rated as 2, as it is an up-to-date project, but as buildings are not very unique, it was not rated higher. We rated the impact decisions have on business as 3, as we feel the risk of the project is somewhere in the middle, and the duration in which risks and opportunities can arise is 2, as the project is completed in a few years. For this reason, the time to make decisions is also rated as 2. The last 3 options have a similar reasoning, and we rated our expertise as 5 because we have a lot of experience and cases to draw from. So from the same reason, we also rated the reliable data at our disposal for risk calculation as 4, and we rated the ability to sensibly quantify the consequences of potential risk and opportunities also as 4. And so our total complexity comes out to be an average of level 3. And next slide.
Okay, so for step 3, we have decided, like for each stakeholder, we have decided 5 main key objectives. So for project director, we have to deliver the project on budget, ensure good communication, bring new technologies, zero harm to all workers, and to manage all the stakeholders' expectation regarding this project. For head of business, we have to assist foreign company to establish office in Indonesia, promote our achievements and unique advantage of the project, to establish communication channel with the government and different NGOs, generate financial statement with high accuracy, and ensure the actual total project cost is within the ranges, and do detailed cost analysis and planning. So for head of operation, we have a recruit, train, and supervise staff for the productivity, on-time delivery at desired quality, ensure that all operations are carried out at a cost-effective way, collaborate with different stakeholders, including engineers, designers, to determine the specifications of the project, as well as to monitor daily operation tasks. For head of health, safety, and environment, we have provide built environment that enhance health and well-being, utilize sustainable energy, provide a safe environment to prevent accidents, further develop technology innovations, as well as to contribute to 17 SDGs for innovation. And for the head of design, we have to create the optimal project design, coordinate with other stakeholders and departments, hire required subcontractors, conduct various risk assessments, and ensure that designs are within all the regulations of Indonesia. Next slide, please. And out of all these objectives, we have come up with the common objectives, which all five key stakeholders share. So the first one is to provide a safe environment to prevent accidents. And we have allocated the percentages of how important is it to the project. The next one is on-time delivery at desired quality, which accounts for 20%, ensure good communication amongst all stakeholders. So it's communication, which is 20%, ensure the actual total project cost is within the project ranges, which is 20%, and bring new technologies and innovations to the project in accordance with the local context. So technology is 10%. And after identifying what common objectives is shared within five stakeholders, we have decided to come up with KPIs that is going to measure how these objectives are being achieved. So for providing a safe environment, we have come up to KPI of 0 occupational fatalities and 0 disease outbreak within the site. For on-time delivery at desired quality, we have scheduled performance index to be higher or equal to 1, and also 0 missed milestones during the project. For good communication, we have meeting attendance rate shall be 100% and 0 meeting runs over the scheduled time. And for the actual total project cost, we have that cost performance index should be higher or equal to 1. And for technologies objective, we have return on automation robots that we are planning to use, and also designs prepared in building information modeling is 100%.
Hi, I'm Jonathan. So I'm gonna talk about risks and opportunities. So for the risks and opportunities that I handle for staff, we'll list the risks and opportunities associated with our decision, tasks, or problems. We believe that risks and in the simulator design is for the aim to let us know that risks are not limited to mitigate it. It could be opportunities as well. For example, emergence of a new technology, developing a strategic alliance, or rolling out a new business model. Those are the opportunities. Furthermore, we identify 5 main categories. They are safety. Next slide, please. Schedule, cost, communication, and technology. Next slide, please. For the step 5, we score all the each risk and opportunities, and we prioritize and rank them. After that, we come up that there are 16 risks and 9 opportunities. Next slide, please. So it is vital to remember that the ranking does not reflect risk level, but rather in which you should efficiently allocate your limited resources to achieving the greatest outcomes. So this is the ranks. And next slide, please. And the heat map shows that how your risks and opportunities are distributed on the matrix, which has used it to rank them. The more nodes in the red area and the top right corner, the greater your risk exposure, and vice versa. Next, please. So the risk and opportunity profile breaks down the risk and opportunity level column in the risk and opportunity calculator to provide a breakdown of how risks and opportunities are spread across 5 different categories. In our case, most of the risks lie in the high or above categories through our assessments. On the other hand, after our analysis for opportunities, they distributed quite equally among medium and exceptional level. The idle profile is a risk profile which slopes down to the right from top left, and vice versa for opportunities. Next slide, please. The risk and opportunity calculator calculates the risk and opportunity urgency and controllability scores as a percentage of the worst case and best case scores respectively. It does this by considering the weighting of each common objective so that the risk score also reflects your risk or opportunities appetite. So, for example, if the risk score is 50%, then this tells you that as a proportion of the worst case scenario, where all your risks were ranked at extreme, your score was half as bad as this could be. So for opportunities, a score is also interpreted as a proportion of a scenario where all opportunities are ranked as extreme. So that's all for step 4 and 5. And let me hand it to Tanya for the last part. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. So the last one, last but not least, is the action plan and the conclusion. Okay, in this step 6, we develop an action plan in which we include up to 3 additional controls per risk and opportunity. And then we score the residual probability after we implement the risk and opportunity. And then we estimate the cost needed if we implement those additional controls. And finally, through the discussion from all stakeholders, we decide whether we want to accept or to reject the proposed additional controls. And then all these process are aiming to make the process of the decision become more manageable. And here I'll explain several examples of the controls that we proposed regarding the safety. One of the risks that we mentioned here is the falling from heights. And then to reduce the risk of falling from heights, we proposed 3 additional controls. First, ensuring all existing fall prevention devices are in a good condition or replace with new one if necessary. So we can buy new scaffold or EWP, and then provide a work positioning system like restraint techniques tools, and also provide a new high quality safety net. So by providing a new high quality safety net, we can reduce the consequences of if there is a worker who fall from heights. And then regarding the schedule, to make sure the project will be delivered on time, we may want to avoid the risk of defective construction materials and equipment. Hence, we propose to increase the testing and inspection. And then one of the communication risks, the poor workplace culture, we want to avoid this by having more gathering for team building exercises. And then regarding the cost, one of the risks that we mentioned here is inaccurate cost estimation by the contractor, and we propose to have a higher local experience requirements for estimation employee. And then we also have the objective of bringing the new technologies, and we might face a risk of cybersecurities. Hence, we think we can minimize the risk by outsource the duty to cybersecurity firm and also applying blockchain technologies. Overall, there are 27 proposed additional controls that we identified, and from those proposals, through the discussion by the stakeholders, 26 were accepted and only 1 we reject. And we reject the one here allocating funds to robotics automation because we think the current state of Shimizu, they already have advanced technology, and for this opportunity, it's already on the exceptional level. And if we add these additional controls, it won't have much impact and it's very costly. So we think we can allocate the funds to other additional controls which will have more impact to the project. And the total cost of all accepted additional controls is around $1.1 million. And then next, we try to simulate the residual heat map, and we see a very significant improvement as the overall distribution of the risk are shifted more towards the lower right area. And then, the risks are shifted more towards the upper left area and the opportunities more towards the lower right area. This indicates that by having those additional controls, investing in $1.1 million for this to these additional controls may reduce the risk levels and increase the impact of the opportunities significantly. And also from the residual profile simulation, we can see a very different trend from these 2 charts. The overall trend of residual risk and opportunities profile is shifted more towards more favorable directions. The red line here, which indicate the risk profile become slopes down. Like here we see the trend is more towards up, but here after the additional controls, it slopes down, and then the opportunity also slopes up. So this means that the breakdown of residual risk are more focused on the low and medium level, whilst the opportunities, we are successfully optimize it, and it have like a very high to exceptional outcome. And lastly, from this calculator simulation, we can see the residual levels also shows an ideal graph in which the risk is much lower than the opportunity. The risk only account for 13.9%, which previously it's above 70%, whilst the opportunity level increased from roughly 60% to 80%. So to conclude, from this group project, we learned that by involving different stakeholders, we may be able to identify more detailed and thorough objectives, risks, and opportunities. And then we also realized that the decision to build a relatively complex project, in our case, we have level 3, will expose the project to a very big number of risks. But on the other hand, it may also bring lots of new opportunities towards the project. This is why we think the collaboration becomes very crucial, as we will need to view from different perspectives so we can have a better outcome. And then through the process, it has also led us to become more critical on how we can mitigate the risk and maximize the opportunities with a more structured approach. Like we can prioritize the higher level risk and opportunities that might have higher impact to the project. And by using this Decision Pro tool, the group collaborative decision result shows that we have successfully reduced the level of risk and increased the level of opportunities of our decision by adding several additional controls. So that's all from our group. Thank you for listening.